Good morning, everybody. It's time to make shift happen on wildfireradio.com. Get ready to shift your perspective on life, people, and the world we live in. And here to help you do that are your hosts, Fran Holinda and Lisa A.
Good morning, shifters. I'm Fran Holinda.
And I'm Lisa A.
And it's time to make shift happen. Oh boy, you're like red in the face already.
Oh,
we haven't even started yet, and you're all red in the face already.
It's been a few days coming now. I've been red in the face.
This is something. Okay, so we have a lot. Actually, you know what? I have to tell you, I am feeling very heartbroken and very sad and kind of crappy from this damn plane ride. But I think we need to start the show off by just acknowledging the lives that have been lost, and this is tragic. Just enough. Ridiculous. All of these isms, racism,
right. Over and over,
anti-Semitism. We have reached a crescendo, a point of like no return.
It's not going to stop. It's going to get worse, and that's the sad part about it. It's not going to get any better.
So
and that's what freaks me out.
And I think again, when I posted our post for the week about this, the thing that rocks you even more to your core. When you hear about these incidents that take place in a house of worship, whether it be a Catholic church or Christian churches or Baptist churches, and now a synagogue, you say to yourself, people are with their God,
right? Praying.
And this was a baby naming ceremony. It's apparently is quite the building in terms of there's actually like 3 congregations within it. In one sense, I think it could have been a lot worse if there had been more people at service.
Very true.
But it doesn't matter. One person.
Yeah, just one person's enough.
And it's not even if it could be any worse. What he said, just so full of hate. How have we gotten to the point where we are so full of hate for people that you don't even know?
I don't know. Between all the school shootings, this is, everybody, the thing that, and believe me, my heart goes out to everyone. That poor woman, a Holocaust survivor, and then goes praying in a church.
In her 90s. This is not how she should be taken.
Right? I mean, she survived that and then to die this way. But not to take away from that, but this has been an ongoing thing. It's just more attention's coming to everything now. And it's like, it's 10, 15 years now with these school shootings. I mean, when was Columbine? Columbine was a while ago. And like every year it's something different. If it's not Pulse nightclub, it's another school shooting. It was Sandy Hook. It just doesn't end. I mean, from babies to 97-year-olds.
Yep.
I mean, even the rape in New York of elderly people. I mean, it's disgusting.
There's like no, I want to say it was almost like there's no boundaries anymore. No. You say to yourself, and I think every one of us has been guilty of, at some point in time, lumping a group of people together because of one person, maybe that we've encountered, that the experience wasn't so great. And it could be an ethnicity, it could be religion, it could even be a body type,
Sure.
And so instead of just saying, my experience with this person was terrible or awful or whatever you want to say, we have to add the adjectives, their color, their race.
Which is unnecessary.
Which is totally unnecessary. Right. Describe them for the person as the person,
right.
This person's name or whoever, and it was you don't make a generalization about an entire people.
Right, because a quick example, I was with somebody Sunday night, who is Jewish and is has no affiliation with the Jewish community, being Jewish, doesn't want to be known as Jewish. And so, like, if he did something to offend me, I can't talk about Jewish people because he's Jewish, but he's not even in the Jewish, congregation or anything to do with people. So you can't judge people anyway just because they are something, because they may have nothing to do with their people anyway.
Exactly, right. You can't help, in a sense, who you're born into or how you're born into this world. People make changes. My entire life, my mother was raised as a Jew, and when she married my father, who was Catholic, in order to get married in church, which is what my father wanted, my mother basically had to agree to raise any children Catholic.
Right.
So we were raised Catholic. My mother was never really practicing, though I had the benefit for many years of being able to celebrate and see celebrations on both sides, which was really a wonderful gift to be able to participate in all of that. And then I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember exactly when. At some point in time, my brother got involved, became like a Christian a Christian evangelist, and wound up converting.
So different spectrums
all
for
over
sure,
the place. Converting my mother from Judaism to Christianity. So interestingly enough, she never became Catholic, but she went right to Christianity. And I know there's all these branches and all this stuff. And we were really, as children, we really did celebrate religious holidays the same way we celebrated just the holidays. Mm-hmm. So for me, I've always been more spiritual, if you will, than religious.
I mean, for instance, with the synagogue, I mean, God forbid, that could have been my mother years ago. I mean, we're Catholic, but, with my brother. And she was driving down South Orange Avenue, where we, in Livingston, where we grew up one time, with a very bad anxiety and panic attack. And she pulled over and went into the big synagogue on South Orange Avenue.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I said to her, what are you doing? Why did you do it?
Doesn't matter.
And she said, God is everywhere.
That's right.
That's a house of worship.
It's a house of worship. It's a place of solitude and solace, and whatever you believe or don't believe, it's a refuge for people. It's a place that you feel safe, just like kids used to feel safe going to school. So the world has changed. It's become a very hateful place, and I will tell you, it is having an effect. I felt very, very sad. Very saddened by this, and every time something like this happens with the children, I with the upcoming midterm elections, I still think of those kids in Florida, Marjorie Stoneman.
Oh yeah,
out there asking people to please vote, because they're too young still to get all of their voices heard. But we're not. We can be their advocate for people who support gun control, if that's what but that's the way to do it. Not going and shooting up more people or not having violent situations. That doesn't really make it any better.
That's seriously another whole talk show, gun control, because I don't know if we're on the same page about that, but guns don't kill people.
You will never convince
people
me
kill people.
that there is a need in normal society for an automatic weapon like that was used.
Absolutely not. There really isn't.
That is a military weapon, and it should be in the hands of police departments. It should be in the hands of law enforcement. Mm-hmm. A private citizen does not require that type of weapon. And that's what I'm saying. That's gun control to me. I'm not saying you should take them away from people who are capable of handling them correctly and properly. It just makes the odds so much greater for the shooter when they can go in there. I just
believe when there's hatred in people's hearts, they will find a way. They will get a gun. They will get a bomb. They will get a pressure cooker. They will get a knife. Something will happen.
They will use a car.
I mean, look at the guys that killed that poor kid Junior in New York. There was no gun involved. They just macheted him to death.
Yep.
And it's just a sick, sick world. And I really don't think that any form of more regulations and more banning or anything is going to stop it, because even like drugs, they come in by the truckload every single day and distributed on the streets. And you make guns illegal, no matter what type of guns, even if it's a hand, you're going to get people opening up the back of their trunk. What do you want? You want an Uzi, you want a machine gun, you want an AK-47.
But it's the people who are buying them are fueled with such hate. And I think what's upsetting to me is, again, and I'm not talking about like fake news, because propaganda has been going on forever. Watch any war movie and you'll see like each side has their propaganda playing or whatever. But when someone is so filled, like you have to want to know. I mean, this is my take, right? I want to know what happened or why. Why do you feel that all Jews must die? What happened to you?
I don't know.
Like, where does that come from? Do you have misinformation?
No, I think they're just psychotic, crazy
Were you
people.
told that something is, he was saying something about they were genocide, his people? I don't even know what it means.
Unless
it's
something
so
happened in his life. Like, we may never know what goes on in these people's minds, but maybe something, who knows, something could have happened to him or his family from Jewish people, or he could just be a psychopath or a psychotic patient. He belongs. Obviously, these people don't belong walking the streets of the United States of America or any country for that matter.
And you find out when you start hearing stuff that we think of social media, right? We think of like we're such babies in this, right? We like Facebook and Instagram, and then there's Twitter, and but apparently, and we do know of this dark web, but apparently there are these very hateful and sites out there that people gather in cultish type where where a lot of his stuff was posted, I guess, and that you see, and it just I don't know, it breaks my heart, and my heart absolutely goes out to the families and the people who are left, and
prayers to them.
It's hard. It's hard to not. I don't care. I know what we say. You cannot change your life. You cannot let them win, but it's hard to not be fearful.
You have to look around you. You have to. You still have to be. I know they say go on with your life, but you just can't.
I mean, think about this. And, anytime people gather for worship, you have services, they're published services. Everybody knows there's no passcode. Everyone is welcome. It's one of the few places that you don't need a membership card, right?
Well, I think I told you when I, was going to church every Sunday for a while, I would go to the 8 o'clock Mass. And that tends to be more elderly because I get up early and go to church. And I would find myself sitting there.
Because they have to have lunch at like
exactly 10 o'clock.
Like 10 o'clock.
Are we being mean to old people? No.
Yes.
Send the emails to Fran Holy. Okay. But I would be sitting in the pew looking, at these poor, frail people. And I'm thinking, and I'm supposed to be praying in church and listening to the sermon.
Supposed to pay attention, Lisa.
And I'm looking around at the and I'm saying, okay, if someone comes in this way, how am I going to get her down? And I'm actually plotting out in my head how I'm going to do
exit
this
strategy.
And that's not a way to sit in church.
No,
it's
that's why I've now taken to my 11:30 watching my new best friend Joel Osteen. I watch now, and I have to be honest.
Or even when we go to the movies, we're like, who's sat behind us? Who's sitting behind us?
We plot our seats right based on, do you want to be where no one can come behind you
in the corner,
or do you think like you're going to be trapped? That's what I'm saying to you, and I don't want to live like that.
No,
but this one, I got to say, this one rattled my cage just as much as the Marjorie Stoneman shooting did too. I for days I just felt very, very sad for the world. Yep. I mean, and let me say this too. Okay, so it's election season, as we know. It's the midterm elections. If you even attempt to watch regular television or broadcast television, I guess you'd say, every commercial, every time there's a commercial break, there is at least, and then I know I think
talk about hate.
Is there like a law that they have to do one each side, right? Has like equal time. So you have one, then you have the other, then you have one, then you have the other, and every kind of and they play and they replay and they replay. I can't stand it anymore.
It's horrible.
I honestly cannot stand it anymore.
Can't wait until it's over.
I'll tell you what. When my business was in its heyday, when we were constantly buying computers and copy machines, and we had a lot of equipment, and I used to, constantly be buying or leasing equipment, and I would bring in different salespeople, Xerox, Canon, all the Ricoh, all the major brands, say, for a big copy machine. These were $40,000 copy machines. And I would sit there and I'd listen to the presentations, and I would never, ever, ever consider any of the people if they bashed somebody else's company.
Yeah. Exactly.
All I wanted to know is, what does your copy machine do?
I totally agree.
What
do
you do?
Right.
And so this is the problem that I have.
That's the first sign of a bad person right there.
Well, this is part of the rhetoric, right?
Exactly.
If I want to say, you should listen to the shift checks, because I don't want to say we're better than or
the other girls on Facebook stink.
Yeah, right. The fat pigs.
Right. Seriously.
No, but did we just insult pigs?
Or fat pigs?
No, but I'm saying, like, just talk about what you bring to the table. Tell me about your product. Tell me about your service. Tell me about your beliefs.
Right. So and the politicians don't do that. They get on there and they tell me everything about the other guy and nothing about themselves or girl. Excuse me. I don't want to. God, I have to.
Damn it.
I'm so not PC. I'm really not.
We just can't get it
I don't
right.
even like using that word. I should smack myself for that. Sorry.
No,
politically correct.
But it's true though, right? Like if everybody just went on and said, you should vote for me because I believe in A, B, C, D.
Right. This is what I'm going to do.
This is what I'm going to, do to the best of my ability, because let's be honest, this is what I'm going to do, A, B, C, and D. And just, let you make, like, if you want to buy a new cell phone, right? You can go on, like, say Verizon's website, and you can say, I want this model, and you compare, right?
You look at it.
And what happens? You get a checklist, and it says, this one does this one does this. It doesn't say this one is better than.
Right. No, you just compare. It's a comparison.
So it's constant, this constant rhetoric, though. So
it's even like that guy who got in trouble. What is it? Oh, God.
Menendez.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
welcome to New Jersey.
The commercial, right? Exactly. First of all, if this guy wins, it's going to be like, oh, my God. But The commercial against him is Menendez with prostitutes, Menendez with alcohol,
indicted with the guy with taking bribes or taking funds.
The whole commercial is that. So you're like, okay, I'm left wondering, who was that ad really for? See, I feel like a lot of TV commercials do that. Period. But for the political people, they push that other person so much into your head that you don't even know who, unless you hear this commercial has been approved by me, Lisa Race, blah 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 blah. It's like, if you don't catch that, you're like, who is that for?
But don't you think don't you think, like, so let's take a sick bastard who's got an AK-47 or whatever the heck it's called, right? And now he's getting fueled up because he keeps hearing that same commercial,
same
about
rhetoric over
the
and
constant.
Right.
He's with this, he's with that, he's doing this, and all of these bad. And that's, when someone's on the edge, it doesn't seem to take much to tip people these days, right?
Very easily.
But don't you think it's that's what I want to say. We just need to stop the rhetoric. Like, you can get your point across, okay? Without having to make it like violent or nasty. You can still say what you want to say.
Absolutely. That's what
we don't
freedom
have
of
to,
speech
we
is
don't
for.
have
Just
to
say it. Say what you want to talk about.
Because we can't control how people hear it. And that's part of the problem.
That's another thing. Yeah.
But
like, if you ask 3 people in a room what they just heard in a TV commercial, they'll all give you a different perspective of what they heard.
Well, speaking of, that was a good. Thank you for that.
I'm always there for that.
That was a good segue. Okay, so I'm going to read something to you that happened yesterday on the Today Show at 10 a.m.
Which I don't watch NBC anymore. So go
9 a.m. Today, as you know, we are starting a new chapter in the 3rd hour of our show as it evolves. We want you to know that the entire Today family will continue to bring you informative and important stories, just as we always have. And that is how they began, or the end of, then that is the end of the Megyn Kelly show.
Correct.
Now, we have a lot to talk about on this as well, for a couple of reasons. First of all, let me just say, I watched.
Just when I was starting to like Megyn Kelly.
I watched out of morbid curiosity, and it was disastrous. I turned it off after 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I had no more interest. If I see Hoda Kotb for one more freaking hour.
Holy cow.
So you're telling me now from 7 a.m. until 11 a.m.? No way. Or Al Roker? No.
No. Come on. It's really overkill. When I saw that release, I was like, I figured Craig Melvin. I knew he had something up his sleeve, or somebody did, being on Megyn all the time, because he was on her show frequently.
And so was Savannah Guthrie.
Yeah, but Melvin was really on.
Yes, but Savannah they tried to make this weird combination of words like Savannah Wednesday or something.
Oh, really?
So Savannah Guthrie and Savannah Guthrie took over for her when she was on vacation one day.
Oh, okay.
A week or whatever.
But I did not see Al Roker coming at all.
Well, Al Roker, if you remember Al Roker, Tamron Hall.
Yeah.
Was Chanel on it too?
But I thought they were done with him now. I thought they were over with him.
Okay, so first of all, I don't even know where
do I begin?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. Okay, I think that I watched the episode over and over and over and over and over again, where Megyn Kelly made comments that have been considered racist by many people. Just as many people don't think it was racist at all.
Me being one.
Well, the more I watched it, the more I listened to it, I don't know. I still didn't hear her say that it was okay today. I never heard her say it was okay today. What I heard was her say that when we were kids.
Right. She did say that.
That people did it. Now, was it ever okay? Probably not. But, when you're a kid, I don't know if as a kid. The thing I didn't know about Megyn Kelly, and you have to remember something, I started watching her only when she came over to NBC.
Right. Because you didn't watch her on Fox.
I never watched her on Fox. I mean, I knew a little bit about the bullshit with her and Trump. But I never watched her. I have no...
Which was a great show, by the way. But if the whole Trump and her thing didn't happen, she should have just stayed at Fox. She should have lived happily ever after, yeah.
But I have no idea of her background. Apparently, she is known, or people feel that she is known for saying racist things. And I don't know if that's true.
I've never heard that before.
I don't know. I'm not sure where the line is on that for racist. What?
The thing that irritates me is that I don't know a single person in the world who hasn't made, and I don't mean like a vulgar
intentionally
race, but hasn't, somewhere crossed the line of racism, womanism, menism,
an ism of some kind of ism.
I mean, it's just tiring. It's really, really tiring. And for this woman to have her career ruined over this, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of black racism. You know what? I wasn't there. My grandfather wasn't there. My father wasn't there. None of us did this. This is a whole new world, a whole new generation. Okay. That was back when none of us were even a twinkle in somebody's eye. Okay. Just as when my ancestors came over, and put Italian people and slaves in New Orleans and all over the country and beat Irish people to death. The only people that weren't persecuted here were the English.
Well, they got here. They they came on their own in their little Mayflower.
I'm so tired. It's like, but what's good for me with this whole thing is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And you get Farrakhan going up there slamming white people 24 hours a day. Remember Reverend White about how all white people must go and this and that. It's like, why is it okay for them to say it, but we can't say a word?
I think it's pretty obvious to many people that she was not liked. That her ratings, for whatever reason, I thought her show at times was contentious. I thought that there were times that she would have her panel or she would have certain people on and instead of letting them finish and, she would go after them like a little bit. But for the most part, I was really beginning to enjoy the show. The very first
started to get very
if
good,
you remember, if our listeners go back to some of our previous episodes where she first started, you could hear us. One of the first things I said was, I'm not really sure why they thought this, I guess you'd say hard hitting newswoman
would want a talk show.
It's going to be like, is going to become a likable talk show host, apolitical, kind of just try to see it. But she managed, she never was not political, but I thought she had some fabulous guests. She brought some great stories to the show.
I thought she became very fair.
She became human.
Yeah.
She humanized herself, I think, almost likable at certain times. So I was very, very surprised, to be honest with you, to hear that she's been known to make other statements before. So I think, similar to a Roseanne situation, I think this was just the last straw. And sadly, each of these women gave the network something to use against them. And I really don't, I watched her apology. Okay. And this is America. This is the world. Everyone, what is it, like opinions like assholes? Everybody has one. Okay.
Exactly.
I watched her apology and I know how I felt about it. I looked at the comments from people. People thought it was fake.
I know. I saw that.
People thought that they planted black audience members to the front, so that when she got her standing ovation from the audience, and that it was very specific that we saw that her black audience appreciated her and forgave her, so to speak. I saw, and the criticism went on and on and on about her apology. To me,
I thought it was very sincere.
She looked a wreck.
Yeah. She did. She looked very nervous.
And she's not an actress.
No, by no means.
No,
definitely not.
The other thing was, so she also hosted that day Roland Martin, who has his show Roland Martin Unfiltered, and Amy Holmes. Now, Amy Holmes has been on countless times on her panel.
Many times.
Both of those people agreed to come on the show and maybe schooled her in a way and explained to her, what exactly all of this meant. Now, again, people say for somebody who's been around the block as many times as she has, for somebody who is as powerful of a news person as she is, she should have known this. It's bullshit that she didn't know it. I will tell you this. I didn't know that. I did not know some of the things that I heard on that show today. I had no idea.
A lot of people don't.
That blackface was an insult, that it was mockery. I had no idea. I remember when did you know that though? I did not know that. I thought it was vaudeville,
the Al Jolson thing and the Sambo or whatever it was called. What was that back in the day? In the vaudeville,
the jazz singer, right? Wasn't that a show?
It was a lot of that back then. But dressing up as a character and just putting blackface on, to me, is two different things. I mean, the whole thing started with the Diana Ross thing, with let's
talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it was the woman
Luann. How do you say it? Delepis?
Can never say correctly.
Luann Delesips.
Yes. She dressed up for Diana Ross as Halloween on the New York version of The Housewives of New York.
Roni.
Right.
Roni.
And, how do you put a costume on to be Diana Ross and not at least put makeup on? Not necessarily black, but, a tan or something to put on your face to look like Diana Ross. I mean, what are you going to be walking down the street with a sequin dress on and a big afro wig with a white face? You can't be Diana Ross. Just like when people last year and many years since I've been alive, I see guys walking around playing Guidos with the gold chains and the shirts open and, talking like, can I get a cup of coffee? How you doing? How come that's
Jersey
okay?
Shore. Look at what Jersey Shore. I mean, with the caricatures from Jersey Shore
are imitated all the time
when they were in their heyday. Well, I don't know if you saw the interview with Andy Cohen. So she went on. Luann
no,
went
I
on.
did not see
Luann went on because he's a producer, right, or creator of or something.
He does the Housewives.
He does the Housewives, and he asked her about it because essentially this was part of the conversation on the Megyn Kelly show that kind of started perpetuating the rest of it. And she said that she did not blackface. She used her bronze. She said she uses bronzer the same way she always.
No, that's not true. She was darker.
I'm just telling you what she said. That she always uses bronzer, and she used her bronzer the same way, and that this was her little tribute to Diana Ross, and she loves Diana Ross. And then somebody said to her, "Well, Diana Ross didn't actually wear like an afro. She wore her hair like down most of the time, like big and down, but not up. Her Luann's costume, her hair is very much like."
It's like an afro going up,
right? As opposed to truly what Diana was. So I guess my question though is, how come she's not in trouble? How come she's not in at least as much trouble as Megyn Kelly was in?
Well, that's why I don't know. Why didn't they pull that episode and say that wasn't right what she did? And also, I know your buddy Jimmy Fallon, like I told you, dressed up as Lucius Lyon's Empire with blackface on.
He did.
He put color on his face. NBC. He didn't get in any trouble.
It's a double.
We talked about a list of
double
movies
standard.
And everything,
Well, there was a whole thing about.
To me, it's another Anne Curry.
Well, this is another thing I've seen, and so that was also part of the commentary. Like white chicks,
right?
And she said, you get in trouble if white people dress up with blackface and if black people put on whiteface. But yet these movies go out there.
Black people do it all the time. Eddie Murphy does it in every single one of his movies. He played an old Jewish guy with whiteface on. Remember that in Coming to America?
Oh, that's right. Is it Coming to America?
It's Coming to America.
Well, the problem that I have with all of this is that, I try really hard to not offend anyone. It's not always easy to do when you have an opinion about something, and no matter what you say and no matter what you do, you're going to, it seems like, offend somebody. As I said, I watched the show over and over again, and Melissa Rivers, she jumped right on in, and I don't remember hearing much backlash. I was disappointed in Megyn Kelly's colleagues in this.
That's horrible.
Which makes me really think then that all of this is fake. All of these fake friendships that they profess to have,
obviously,
were fake. If this is your colleague and maybe a friend, and you've gotten to know them since they've come to your network and you've been on their show many times, if you felt that they were racist based on comments, say, that were made before, why would you ever agree to go to go on? So what I would really have preferred them to say, which would be, look, I don't believe at heart that she meant to hurt anybody. I don't like what she said, and I accept her apology. But that's not what they did.
They threw her under the bus.
They really threw her kind of under the bus.
And if you remember with Ann Curry, they did the same. Al Roker did the same exact thing to her.
I don't understand. Do you know what happened?
There's really nobody really knows the true story. It's just like she just pissed somebody off there, and they just all threw her under the bus. I mean, Ann Curry, I've met several times, wouldn't kill a fly.
She wasn't. I will tell you this: when she was promoted, if you will, to be with Matt as the co-anchor, she was not strong enough.
No, she's a very, very sweet person. She doesn't have the personality.
But then she was gone.
Yeah,
and it was nasty. And I remember, didn't Kathy Lee Gifford write an op-ed defending Matt Lauer because somehow he got blamed for that? Somehow
he had a hand in it. It was actually him who got her fired.
Why?
Al Roker. They just didn't want her. They didn't want her.
Al liked her.
No, well, yeah. So you think Al likes spend a day with Al Roker and come back and talk to me about the isms,
and
the filthiness and the dirty jokes and the talking about women and
well, I would assume that now. I would assume that now he's had to tone it down after the whole Matt Lauer debalte. I had a dream, by the way.
You had a dream. I had
a dream about Matt Lauer. I had a dream.
Oh my God!
I had a dream that I went to.
You went to his office?
NBC or no? I went somewhere like on a tour, and they hired him back. He was back.
Oh God!
Because with all the shit going on, they've got nobody left. Like they're digging in the bottom of the barrel now. But I don't know. This whole thing, it's just made me.
Well, I told you I had a run-in with NBC Universal myself, Comcast, NBC Universal,
and there's no forgiveness, right? Like that's the other side of it. Like okay, so if she had been one of the Golden Girls, let's say Hoda messes up one day, are they gonna just take the big cane and haul her off the stage, or because she's America's sweetheart or she's NBC's sweetheart right now, they're gonna kind of forgive her? I feel like I'm so mad at Meghan because I feel like she gave them, even though I don't know it, that she had to be fired for it.
I have to tell you the bitch that I am, and I'll say it. Yeah, there is no way on God's green earth that I would have given that apology. I don't care. Unless Jesus Christ himself came down and told me to do it, I would have never given that apology. I don't believe she had anything to apologize for, and she shouldn't have given that apology.
And can I ask you a question? And I know this is going to create a problem, but apparently she made a statement once that Jesus was white. Are you aware of that statement?
I believe she did say that, yes.
Okay. In all of the photographs...
And Santa Claus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in all of the photographs, since I have been on this earth, that I have ever seen of a depiction of Jesus, he's
white.
He looks white.
Well, they show him as white. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. How could you be mad at somebody who, if that's all you've ever seen? And I'm on the planet a long time. How? But I'm just saying that to you. Now I don't know anything. I mean, I know the Bible a little bit.
We haven't met Jesus yet.
No,
so
based on the part of the world that
more than likely he wasn't stark white,
right,
as the pictures portray him to be.
Exactly.
Right.
So okay. So if you don't know the Bible, right, and you don't, but you just grow up looking at photographs, some of the most famous in the world, right, depict. So I don't know. I mean, did she say it as an absolute? I guess if you're gunning for somebody, they give you.
So should we take Ariana Grande off the radio because she's saying God is a woman?
Well,
you know how many feminists say God is a woman?
Oh, by the way, they took our show off last night.
I know, for a Halloween thing.
Now we know why. For Wicked. Now, do you remember last week when it said
that's what
2
it
weeks?
Was? Okay.
I said, wait a minute.
I was getting bored with it anyway. So.
But I thought it was because of the whatchamacallit, the playoffs, World Series. But then I'm like, no, that's on Fox.
That ended though.
Yeah, but that's on Fox anyway. So I really didn't know why. But interestingly enough, so today, Ariana Grande's comeback after her breakup. Oh, please.
Her comeback.
Where'd she go?
She didn't go anywhere. God as a Woman has been the biggest song on the radio.
No, but she was doing Wicked stuff yesterday.
Oh, she was.
She was part of the Wicked, that special for Wicked, which was, by the way, a fabulous musical. But I just had to throw that in there when you said Ariana Grande. I know. I'm just, again, I think when, it kind of goes back to maybe any relationship in your life, when you're in love and crazy and happy, no matter what the person says is gold, right? And then when you can't stand them anymore, everything,
that's it.
The fact that they breathe aggravates you. And I think that's what happened with NBC and Meghan. I think the fact that she was breathing.
Well, I told you, and this has nothing to do with religion. I'm just stating this, but I saw something start to happen. I think I told you this when she came on last Ash Wednesday. With ashes on her forehead.
Yeah, I missed that one.
And she also had a chef on who was cooking steak. And she said, I'm sorry, but she said, due to my religious beliefs, I will not eat meat on Ash Wednesdays. But if somebody Muslim or Jewish or, whatever religion that you want said that, it would have been, oh, of course, no big deal. I mean, I just had this conversation with somebody, again, Sunday night, saying about prayer in school and, very, very against it. I said, well, I was working at a place not too long ago where the Muslim community would take their rugs, right before sundown and go out in the lobby or the whatever area, outside the building, face toward the west and pray. And, he agreed with me that shouldn't be right either because, what if every religion did that?
Well, you have to have it all or nothing. You can't.
Yeah, you can't just have for one religion and say that's okay, but if I come through, the door, carrying a cross and saying, "Oh, today it's Lent. I'm going to carry this giant cross every day for 40 days of Lent." Is that okay? No. They would have the news media would be there. Well, it's true. But everybody else, it's like, listen, if you want to take everything away, then you take everything away, okay? You take away the signs at the door that say, "This is the Sabbath day door at Monmouth Hospital." You take away everything. No, really. And not because they're Jewish.
No, I know.
It has nothing to do with Jewish.
It's for everyone.
I respect they can't touch electricity. But if you're going to do it for one, then you have to do it for all. I mean, it's as simple as when I make a phone call and it says, "If you want to hear this in English, press 2. Why do I have to? I live in the United States of America. It should be in English. I shouldn't have to press a button. If you can't understand English, you press the button to hear it in Spanish."
Well, they couldn't because they don't understand English.
That's why she repeats it. She says it, but they say it in Spanish. If you listen to the recording, it'll say it.
I'm just trying to put out the fire, Lisa.
No, you can't. You can't.
Your glasses are going to steam off your face today.
I'm just done. It's like it's ridiculous.
Well, we also what's happened here is also too is that what we see is our level of forgiveness has really it's punishment instead of forgiveness and second chances. There's no second chances.
It's like, is the third hour safe now because it's an Egyptian and 2 black people?
Well, and
is it safe now? I mean, if they say anything about white people, will they get?
And I think Jenna Bush Hager is going to be on there too.
I take offense, to a movie like The White Chicks. What's a white chick? Because you certainly don't look white to me.
Apparently.
Do I look that white to you?
No, I asked you if you were tan.
I mean, is that going to be the next thing?
Your Florida color.
Am I going to have to stop tanning because people are going to think I have? I mean, I came back. What did you call me when I walked in the radio station that day?
Lisa?
No. You said, "Hey."
I did not.
Yes,
don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Why? Did. But I was. I was at a nice brown bronze color. I did. So what's wrong with that? So now we can't lay in the sun anymore? Is that going to be the next thing? That we're going to be banned from the beaches saying that we can't tan anymore?
Well, I think, again...
First of all, imitation is the
sincerest form of flattery.
Exactly. I mean, you know how I love Diana Ross to death. Tomorrow night,
She's your girl.
I want to play Diana Ross, I will go out tomorrow night dressed as Diana Ross, not with bronzer on, but whatever color Diana Ross has. First of all, she's a beautiful color of caramel anyway. So it really, I don't consider her to be black. She doesn't have the black color. She's very hated in the black community as well. You know that. Because for all these years, they said Diana Ross wanted to be white, wanted to be white, wanted to be white.
Oh, stop.
Which is ridiculous.
Who cares?
She adores her black family. She has a sister in Detroit who just ran. Unfortunately, she didn't get on the ticket. She's very supportive of the black community.
See, I don't even know why it has to be an issue. Like, she's a person and she's a extremely talented performer. Why does it have to be defined in any other way, shape, or form? And she's a fashion icon. Like, I love her, like her clothes and just the way she used to be.
She's a legend.
She's a glamour puss.
Exactly. And you know I'm not a fan of Obama's, okay? But he got ridiculed and bashed all the time because when he went on vacation, he would go to Hyannisport, where all the wealthy white people are. And everybody would say, "Oh, he loves his people. Why doesn't he go to Chicago? Why doesn't he go where, his people are? Why is he going to Hyannisport?" Because he wants to be white too. So it's like, really? It's like, you just can't go to a vacation because you want to go somewhere?
Right. Well, see, that's the...
And I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just saying that's not right.
This is exactly the kind of conversation that I'm sick and tired of to some extent, that people just... Well, this kind of brings us to the Halloween conversation, that this is really where a lot of this stems from. Mm-hmm. One of the interesting things about the show was it started off was that she was saying that, I think University of... someplace I think it was in the UK was saying that what costumes were appropriate and what was inappropriate and what was going to be offensive and what wasn't going to be offensive. And I got to tell you, I'm canceling my personal Halloween. I don't really like Halloween to begin with.
I was scarred at probably 7 years old with a Halloween costume that my mother made me wear. So I hate Halloween anyway.
Were you going to tell?
Sure. My father owned horses, race horses. And she thought it would be cute to dress me up as a jockey. When all my other friends were like beatniks and punks and the whole 9 yards. And I was walking around in, black leotards with a real riding cap from Saks Fifth Avenue, which I hated, and the stick and the whole 9 yards. And I was pissed.
See, now in today's world, okay, something like that could possibly be offensive.
What did I do?
No, I'm just. What would you?
A jockey?
Yeah. Well, because I don't know because everything is offensive.
What would offend a jockey?
Well, so one of the first costumes that, again, I'm referring to Megyn Kelly's show because this is really what sparked a lot of this. Cowboys.
Yeah.
And now Jenna Bush Hager, who grew up in Texas, said, but my kids
I love me a cowboy.
My kids wore what I wore, which was cowboy costume when I was a little kid. This is the way cowboys dress. So anything that's stereotypical. Well,
but
isn't all costumes?
If you say I want to be a cowboy,
what else? I
want to go out
of
my regular life, and I want to be a cowboy.
Right.
That to me is a good thing, because you want to emulate something that you admire. Isn't that why we get dressed up on Halloween?
I don't even know anymore. I mean, if you want to be a doctor and you wear scrubs, is that
right?
Is that
because I would love to make believe I was a doctor for one night, because it's a wonderful profession.
Is that a stereotype that the doctor has scrubs or a white coat? That's their
stereotype.
Uniform.
That's what they wear.
I know, but I'm saying
you come here every day in your G-string. You're a radio co-host.
And my tassels. I stopped with kept getting caught in the.
Yeah, really.
But I mean,
it's ridiculous.
When you think back to some of the costumes that you may have worn as a kid, or I mean, I guess it's okay for everybody to be a princess, but depending on, don't paint your face.
Oh, Christmas already with that face.
Okay. No,
Oh my God! So if you want to be a football player, you can't put the black under your eyes either. Is that going to be a problem?
No, again.
That's acceptable.
No, I don't think that's not the same. Listen,
I was a doctor once, and I carried a prescription bottle,
but they were real.
No. And it was an adult
speaking
party,
of the drug problem,
I did have M&Ms in there.
Yeah.
I had M&Ms in there. I would say everybody,
did.
would you want to, feel better? I gave them all M&Ms. It was fun. I don't know. I think, if somebody right now said, of course I'm nobody and nothing, but if somebody said, I'm going to dress up like Lisa for Halloween, why would I be offended?
I think it's the attitude of, again, it's what it was. It's what it was. And I personally, I have to say it, I appreciated the education of it. Okay? Even my husband and I had a conversation about this, and he didn't seem to understand either how offensive it was. We both thought it was like vaudeville or whatever you call it, that whole thing. Okay, so now that we know that, right? So now you say, I'm sorry, thank you, but we're not moving on. We are of a punishing nature. So as you educate your children, and as you try to teach your children right from wrong, or learn the how to be an upstanding adult, if they make a mistake unintentionally, do you punish them, or do you use it as a learning experience?
Use it as a learning experience.
I think this could really be a learning. What I learned from this experience is that everything I ever said to you about, hey, Lise, we should get the Shift Chicks, we should be on TV, we should get our own show, how cool. Never in a million years do I want that anymore, because you have to be so careful about what you say, what you wear, what you do, how you you're not going to get, just like for political office, you're not going to get anyone of any quality anymore if you're going to turn their lives upside down, inside out. If there's going to be this insane
and
jealousy.
Everybody has something in their past, in the closet, in the past, whatever you want to call it, that's going to come out when they went.
Well, it's Halloween. They're skeletons.
Yeah, and that's another thing. They were talking. They showed some black kids dressed up as skeletons that were white. Is that okay? Well, bones are white, and who said ghosts are just white?
But let me say that on the list of 15 costumes that would be offensive, I think skeleton might fall under eating disorder.
Oh, for God's sake!
Seriously,
can't. I
cannot. You can. I'm not even sure. Well, that's the best way.
This is for real.
Yeah, you can. Okay, real quick, I'll go through them. A Holocaust victim, which we actually saw on Megyn Kelly. No, but I'm just saying these are okay. Blackface of any kind. Anything that shows transphobic, and I'm not even sure what that is. Any type of refugee.
Oh, I can't.
Any costume that might be body shaming. Any cultural stereotypes. That just about takes care of everybody. Any mentally ill person. So no more
So I can't be myself?
So no more straight jackets and butterfly nets, I guess. No national tragedies.
Well, I can see that.
No homeless people. Terrorist. Zombie of recently dead celebrities. Any type of eating disorder.
No, but you could put a mask on of all of our past and current president and make fun of them. That's okay, though.
Any diseating orders, which is where the skeleton, I think, comes in. Any type of animal cruelty. And in this particular case, they were actually showing the lion killer, like a safari lion killer costume. And then the last one was any type of sexual harassment. Because apparently there is a Harvey Weinstein costume. I can't even... First of all, like very similar to what the discussion on Megyn Kelly's show was that day. If you think it's wrong, it's probably wrong. I mean, come on.
I still don't. You're saying you get this whole learning experience, but I still don't get it. Okay, because I mean, if I were just going around on a normal day, with blackface on and trying to make people believe. I mean, look at the guy that duped David Duke. That they used a black guy. Made him change his voice to white, and this whole time David Duke thought he was a white guy.
What about that movie? It was a black detective that actually was the voice, but the white guy because he knew he'd never infiltrate.
I mean, what if a white person did something like that? Oh my God, we'd be shot, tarred, and feathered.
Oh Jesus, don't go there.
We would. And what I'm not going to get into that, but I just think that I think that.
I would have just preferred this whole experience to be a learning experience for the country.
But maybe learning what? Like learning what? What do you want me to learn?
Okay,
I would Megyn Kelly saying she thinks it's okay to dress up like Diana Ross or whatever.
Well, actually, what she said, and again, what she said was as a kid, but apparently it's never been okay. Well, because apparently what we thought wasn't true. Okay, but we're lay people. We really are. And all we know is what we're taught, and we're not taught very much about it. We're really not. But she's held to a higher she's held to a higher standard because she's a news person and knows should know her facts before she speaks. We don't have to know facts. We can just say whatever the hell we want. So I think that's part.
I just hope a bunch of chicks don't come chasing us.
Well, here's the thing. The learning experience is number one. Maybe you have to be a little more careful before you speak. That you should maybe get your facts out before you speak.
That's not really a learning experience.
But the other learning experience is that, in this case, the learning experience was that we were all educated by having these two people come on her show and tell America. So anyone who didn't know this already now knows it. And it should have been left at that. And if her ratings didn't come up or she had an issue, then it should have been dealt with as an issue of her ratings, and they shouldn't have been put together like this. Mm-hmm. I don't think she should have been punished so severely for what.
What are people supposed to learn about blackface? That's what I'm still confused about.
Absolute insult.
Why?
Because it mocks and makes fun of people. It's not it doesn't emulate them in a positive way. It was apparently a very terrible thing that was done to people. Even black people got their faces painted black, and then their lips were made extra big with bright red. It's degrading. It was a very degrading experience, and that's what I didn't know that. We thought
okay, but when it comes to being in like I said, if I understand that if we just went around doing that on a daily basis,
well, I think that's what they were specifically.
But and for a costume, how is that degrading? I'm flattering the person that I want to emulate.
It's not seen that way. Changing the color of your skin.
Then the Wayans brothers and Jimmy Fallon and what's that other lunatic that goes around doing every religious person in the world?
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Then they all have to stop. They have to stop too. Not just me, not just you,
not just Megyn.
They have to stop.
Well, if that's what has to happen, then that's what has to happen.
I mean.
But we've seen. That's why I'm saying to you, I don't think that her whole firing, and it's not even about her so much. It's just about the way it was handled.
And I wanted to tell you another thing. There was it was a Saturday Night Live throwback. Did you watch it the other night? By any chance?
They did the Halloween. They did their Halloween special.
Well, did you watch them with Dave Chappelle though?
Yeah, when he does all those characters.
Okay, he does all those characters, and what was said during
the N-word?
Not only the N-word, monkey.
Yeah.
Now you have five. Dave Chappelle.
He did five
sitting there
talking
to himself as Dave Chappelle.
Right, yeah.
And he's telling the one, shut up, you monkey.
Yep.
Shut up, you N-word.
Yep.
Back and forth,
I said that to Randy. I was like, Oh my God, do you hear that?
But that's okay.
On Saturday
Night Live doesn't get in any trouble. The black people don't find that offensive because Dave Chappelle is saying it.
I think it's offensive, but I agree. I heard it. I did hear it, and I was shocked. Again, that's why I think a lot of this.
Yeah, this goes way back to. Do you remember? Do you watch It's a Wonderful Life? Did you ever watch that movie?
Yeah.
Do you remember the one scene when Potter says, "Oh, get rid of all those garlic eaters"?
Doesn't stand out.
Okay, well, he's talking about Italian. He's talking about this Italian neighborhood that's being built, by the good guy. I can't think of it, Jimmy Stewart.
Okay,
and I'm like, wow, that was back then. But today, I mean, they still say that. I mean, they still say that. So you know what? I'm going to say something that's going to be very controversial right now. So instead of everybody saying, we used to say a word about black people. We used to use a word. And now, to me, it seems more appropriate to go back to that word, since that you're defined as white, this one's defined as yellow, this one's defined as brown. So maybe we all are colored people.
Well, we are different colors. There's no such thing as
so
pure.
Then why do you get mad? Why do people get mad when you say they're colored? I am colored. Somebody call me white. That's not white. I'm Mediterranean, and I have a little bit of Latin from me. I'm Italian. I'm not white.
Well, if you
What's
check
white?
When you check the box,
now I check other. I check other for everything, male or female. Other. I check other on every box I can possibly find. And how dare you ask me about my religion? How dare you?
Well, yeah.
Unless it's, God forbid, in a hospital situation where they need to know what you want, toward the end of your life or something.
I just don't answer certain questions if I'm much not going to answer them.
I stand with Megyn Kelly. That's all I want the world to know.
Well, I stand by the fact that I don't think that.
I don't
think it was intentional. I don't see it as intentional. I just don't. And I'm not privy or aware, and I don't even want to go backwards to things that she has said in the past. When you're having a conversation and her show is live, right, and it was a genuine flow back and forth, she just said it.
And that day she had no black people on. That she said it. The one day she doesn't have anybody on. But I mean,
so she just really said it. I don't think it was planned. It was pretty obvious to me that she should get an Academy Award then, because I think she was sincere.
Where do you think she goes from here?
In her apologies, I think we should forgive and move on. And I think that we're not doing that lately. We're crucifying everybody for every every misstep, and that's not right either. What happened to forgiveness? And, that's part of healing, isn't it?
There is no forgiveness.
Well, that's another thing. There seemed to be a lot of jealousy for her and a lot of unhappiness that she was brought to the network. And, unfortunately, if you and I are here and somebody else comes in, it's not our doing that somebody else. It's not her fault that they wanted her to come over. Exactly. So the people get pissed off that the new kid in town making a lot more money than the people that, whatever. I think she'll take some money. Maybe she'll take some time off. And somebody will put her on. She'll go back. I think she'll go back to cable. I think she'll wind up with a cable show where she can be a little more.
You think she'll go back to Fox?
No. I don't think she can ever go back there. I don't think she should go back. I don't think you should go backwards. I think she should somebody will create a show around her where she can be more of herself. And cable offers that.
But like what cable? What channel do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Because she's not going to go to CNN, MSNBC. She can't go any of them that are owned by.
I'm sure there's something. out there. I don't really watch enough of that stuff to know. Well, you know what? Instagram, YouTube. This guy Roland Martin. I was looking to try to find his show. He live streams on Facebook. He's got an Instagram TV. He's using the power of the internet. So I think she could probably. She has plenty of supporters. I still maintain, since all I know of her is what I've seen of her, and since I'm going to practice what I preach and say that I'm not going to base my opinion on the opinion of others, but based on what I have deduced from watching her, I would continue to watch her.
So would I.
So, all right. Happy news.
Here's
happy news. Here's happy news. Guess what?
Tell me.
The Rockefeller Christmas tree has been selected. I know Christmas is
this makes me very happy.
This is making you smile. Okay, ready? It is a Norway spruce. It is 75 years old. Something older than us.
75 years old.
Comes from Wallkill, New York. It's 72 feet tall, 45 feet in diameter, and tips the scale at an estimated 12 tons.
12 tons.
Older and bigger than us. It will be cut down on November 8th. It will arrive on November 10th.
That late? It's usually the first Wednesday in...
Well, the tree lighting is November 28th. It's right after Thanksgiving. They usually do it right after Thanksgiving. So the tree will be decorated with more than 50,000. I can't put up one strand of lights. I don't know how these people do 50,000 strand of lights. While stretching 5 miles, and there's going to be a new Swarovski star.
Nice.
And
how much longer do you think that they'll allow that Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center?
I think it will always be. And then
it better be.
And then since 2007, once the tree is taken down, they use the wood goes to Habitat for Humanity, which is fabulous. And the LED lights save energy. They will never stop this tradition because several reasons. One, this is not a Christmas tree is not necessarily considered. I don't see it as a religious symbol.
Well, it is.
I don't think.
I mean, that's why I don't believe
it's portrayed that way in Rockefeller Center. Also, it's an enormous tourist attraction. There's no way they're going to.
It's for Christmas time. It's for the Christmas season.
And the rink has been up already for a while.
Yeah, that goes up early.
That's a little soon?
Well, the skaters love it. That's been up since I think early October.
Do you skate?
I used to. I don't anymore.
I fall.
Do you really?
I fall well. I look great. I always get a nice outfit and fall. I haven't gone ice skating in so long. The last time I went ice skating, my ankles.
Have you ever tried snowboarding?
Get out of here.
Oh, you would love
Yeah,
snowboarding.
with my back. Oh, yeah.
No. You just put a little back brace on. You'll be fine.
No, listen, sitting on a bar stool is enough of a balancing act.
That is.
For me.
That can hurt with no back. Yeah. Unless you have somebody holding you up, and you're all right.
So Halloween is tomorrow. I'm not celebrating.
No, we
anything.
dressed up for Halloween last year. We didn't dress up this year.
Nope, I'm boycotting.
I don't like Halloween.
Never mind. I have to tell you, I did actually look for something that I thought would be cute for us for the chicks, and there's nothing out there. I mean, I was on Amazon. I scoured stores. I was going to surprise you at a store. If I was at a store and I saw something, I would send you. We're not chickens.
No, definitely not.
We're not chickens. We're not roosters. We're not hens. We're chicks. We're the shift chicks. So I think between now and next year, we're going to have to create our own version of a Halloween
that could be more offensive than anything.
Oh my
if we
God.
create our own.
Yeah, because if we put peckers on, then we got real problems.
Whose pecker's bigger? Mine or yours?
I think that falls under a different category on my list. And real quick, I do have we have a quick pick.
Oh, do you have a pick?
I do have a quick pick.
I didn't bring a pick because I thought we were going to be on Megan so long.
We're taking it right to the end here. But I'm going to post this because this is another one. And the only reason is because I use this on vacation. So last week we talked about Rise gear, and Randy had the shelving.
Which I love. I want to get that.
This is actually, for me, worked even better. It's called Rume, and that's RUME.
Oh, cute.
And it is a garment travel organizer. So it looks like a garment bag, and it has a zipper on one side where you hang your stuff like you would hang in any garment bag. But when you turn it over, it has pockets. It has like sewn on almost like cubes.
Okay.
So you've got 2 in the corner. So you have like maybe underwear in each corner, and then you have 3.
But it's closed in, so you can't
zipper.
see it.
Zipper. Netting. There's like netting.
Oh, okay.
And then you have big, giant zipper pockets that you can put all your stuff in. And if you roll your clothes and you put them in there, which is what I did, and then it folds into itself. So it folds in thirds, buckles together, and sits right in your suitcase. When you get to the other side, if you don't have anything hung up in there, you hang it up. And I never put my clothes in the drawer. Or you can leave it rolled up; it stays. And of course,
And where'd you get this? You got it online?
I've got this online. I have this. I've had this a couple of years now, and even though I bought the other thing, I continue to use.
You
this.
like that one?
I love it. It's like vinyl-y, not even vinyl-y. It's like polyester, so it wipes clean. I Febreze it. It's the greatest thing. I absolutely love it. $29.95.
Wow.
Can't beat it. And they have some other cool stuff. So it's www.myrume.com. And I will
look into that.
You have to look into it. And they have other packing cubes. They actually have packing cubes that you compress. But I got to tell you something. A plane went down. There's a plane.
Yes. It's only a couple months old, isn't it?
It's like a brand. You know what? I got to tell you, I'm off airplanes for a while.
Yeah, really.
I think
keep your feet on the ground.
I'm keeping my feet on the ground, my head in the stars.
I got my feet on the ground. Is there a song like that?
And I'm going to give you Lisa's address for all the hate mail that's coming today.
Now that's going to Fran Holinda.
Care of. Oh, well, this is our big 6-0 episode. I don't know if you realize that.
Yes, this is a big. What do you get for a 60th anniversary?
I don't know. I think I'll give you a watch.
I'll take it.
I'll give you a candy corn.
Oh God, I
trick
hate
or treat.
That I don't like.
Ugh, gross. The most disgusting thing ever invented.
I'm not even a big candy eater. Are you?
You get into. It's one of these wine chocolate relationships that I have, and since I've come back from Oregon. I've started cracking open the Pinot Noirs, and damn it, if not within like half a glass, I'm like, I could go for something chocolate right about now.
Really?
Yeah. That wine and chocolate.
Like if I
wine
take a piece of chocolate, I'm like, okay, that's enough. It gets sickening to me. Too much chocolate.
Yeah, that's why I concentrate on the wine.
Yeah.
All right. Guess what? Guess what we have to say now?
I don't know. Again, it's that time already. Boy.
Trick or treat now.
Trick or treat. Smell my feet. Give me something good to eat.
All right, Halloweeners.
Yeah, Halloweeners.
Go out there and make shift happen.
Thanks for listening, Shifters. Join us again next Tuesday at 11 a.m. as we spotlight the latest in exclusive restaurants, shopping, fashion, nightlife and entertainment, and the people who make shift happen.